Hi and good day. Today we're going to run through a job setup and just see how quick we can put an appraisal together. Thanks for joining me, and here's the how-to. We're currently on the dashboard where you can see I've got 9 jobs going, how many are in the works, overdue, and the list of other jobs that are being worked on currently. Today we're working on what we're calling stock appraisals. This is an email that we got. It's going to be a quick list in it, some notes to go with, and it's got the equipment, the unit numbers, year, make, model, hours, where they had it. We're going to figure out if that is accurate as we work through the process of doing this and doing the inspections. I'm going to stage some of it as in collected field photos, but this is just to see where the efficiencies come in. So you can click on new job. We've got time trackers that we can enable in here, and there's quoting options as well, but we're just going to focus on the equipment and the appraising. So we're going to name this as Bedrock Aggregates. We're going to set out the effective date. I'm doing the appraisal. This can be worked on an enterprise level through multiple people, so it can be shared as a dashboard, but today it's just going to be me. We have options, appraisal, trade valuation, listing spec, and insurance. Those are just different outputs that you get. But again, we're doing the appraisal just to see the full format. This is for, we're going to say it's for lending purposes. Put whatever you want in there or nothing. A job number. So it auto assigns job number, the date built in, and what job it is in your own dashboard. You can set up how this generates if you want a different prefix, if you want the date in there. You're going to go to equipment. Here's the first time saver, so we're just going to drop in an equipment list, and this is going to actually come straight out of that email. And because I've got that email saved as a PDF, I'm just going to go ahead and it's given us 7 items, which is correct. Doesn't recognize this, so this is going to be a jaw crusher. And this is going to be a radial stacking conveyor. Didn't pick up on any students for serial numbers or VINs because it wasn't included in it. So that's going to be a verified field, but it does have unit numbers attached to it. So you can see it's got the year, make, and model. It's identified if it's equipment or a truck or a trailer. And hours. Scroll over, we're going to see kilometers on the truck. Anything was added mistakenly, we can delete it out at that point. We're going to go ahead and create the worksheet. Job created. See the notifications there. Bedrock aggregates, if something needs to change there, we can also edit that. And we do have the options of, in this process, going back to quoting, taking deposit for pre-work, reviewing, and eventually sending invoice for this. But what we're going to do is just focus on getting the assets. So you can see, just getting up myself out of the way here, you can see here's the 7 pieces. If you want it a little more organized, we can go to a list view, get all the pieces, everything's populated in here. Shows you the values assigned once we get to that point. If we need to change the order again, we can just drag, and this is what's going to be outputted on the final list, and this will be the order. So if we need to change the order, it's a simple click and drag. In here, let's get the truck closer to the trailer, put the equipment together, relevance order, and you can see a completion. So as we click through this equipment and add stuff to it, it's going to fill that bar and tell us what percentage that we're done of the work. If at any point we wanted to add anything, we can manually add over here. And same thing, we put the information in, type it in, far as that's concerned. So we can add that if we need to. Let's see that added down here. I don't want that, so I'm just going to go ahead and delete that one. Okay, so let's start working on these. I'm going to just click on it to open it. So here's our equipment window. So we've got verified for the year. So whatever source you're using for year verification, click on that, highlight screen, serial number. Once you inspect in the field, type that in manually. Again, it'll pick up if it's on the equipment list already. And then hours, tracked excavator. We've got condition ratings. Obviously, we don't know what we're going to rate for conditioning until we've inspected it. Here's the photos section. This will work on mobile in the field, that you can click and add photos. If you're on your cell, you'll be able to take it with the camera if you want to do it that way. Or if you've taken the photos on your phone, it'll prompt you to open up your photos folder and add them in from there. What I'm going to do is, because I've got a folder created already, as if I've done the field inspection and uploaded the photos back into my sorting folder, is I'm going to simply just click and drag. So again, we're on CAT 320. I'm going to grab, I've got a folder here that's got the 5 photos. Grab those, just going to simply drag and drop them in here. So here's our photos, and we're going to select our hero photo. So we're going to star that one. If these were in an order that we didn't like, we can also click and drag these to move them around. That. And we'll go into the ratings. So again, if you want to look at the photos for inspection, click through. See it's in good shape. You can see the hours. Oh, 42:06 on the hours. Okay. That's 6 hours. You can see it's automatically saved when you update that. Good cosmetic condition. We didn't see anything that would say that it's in mechanical disrepair. Undercarriage rating. We're going to say fair. We're going to say that it's somewhat worn. And we're going to, because it's in fair condition, for undercarriage, we're going to put it at 55. There is a flag once you get under 20%. But we're going to leave this back up around 55%. Comes with, yeah, so this is where you would, this is an example, it's not written in there, but this is where you put your comes with or additional information. This one doesn't have anything preloaded. Sometimes if the customers put in information ahead of time, it'll populate up here, but we will put in, yeah, so this one doesn't have a thumb, so we're going to say 36-inch big bucket, catwalks on it. I need to look again. Looks like there's a quick connect in there. Looks like it's hydraulic quick connect as well. Obviously use the typing and writing that you use in your reports. Section notes, so you can see, leaking drive motor, if you saw something like that. Okay, all that stuff auto saves as you finish typing. So now we get into the fun stuff. Here's the values that we get to use. So the whole idea here is that it's quick to get your information in here. And you've got your auction, your retail. You're gonna be able to click through it, and your FMV pool. So this will populate if there's an exact make and model that's been searched before, and you'll be able to open up and see if there's anything in there that you could use. It's not populating right now because we haven't. So I'm going to show you a couple examples on how to do this. So the first is going to be using auction comps. So I'm going to open up another tab and go to Ritchie Brothers website because that's where we get all our good info from. You can use whatever site that you want to. We'll put in CAT 320. We think this one's 2019. So the nice thing about this is we're just working in a browser, not flipping between spreadsheets, anything like that. This is just in here. So 2019 CAT 320, it's got to go 4,200 hours on it. Construction, excavators. I always like to put this in list view because it has all the description items that are in here. Regionally, we're going to search just in Canada because that's where we are. And we know this is a 2019, so I'm going to short this up. And our range I'm going to leave. So there's 43. I always like, again, for my use, we're going to sort by auction date. And again, if you want to filter by down to regional or whatever, you can do that as well. I'm going to grab as much current information as possible. So the first way to do this, simplest way to do this, I'll show you if I copy 3. So I'm going to copy 3. Copy. Go back in here. Paste. So information is just as it was copied and pasted from the website. I'm going to hit extract. Thinks for a second. Medium confidence. We've only got 3 comps. Scores 70 out of 100. You can open this up. Comp count, price consistency data, recency, year match, source diversity, thin market bonus. So it shows you the years. If you wanted to see what the details are that came with those, you hover over the info. So you can see the details of each one. Hours, price, adjustments. Come over your adjustment. So it's adjusting for usage because it's a 3,300 hour machine instead of a 4,200 machine. There's built-in algorithms to adjust for that. And the algorithm is based off of the data collection. So because these are 3,000, 2,000, 2,600, and 4,300 hour machines, it's going to do adjustments according to these groupings. It shows you where it's sold, date it's sold for, text, and if there's any flags. So if it has notes in it for complete dispersal or anything along those lines, you can also flag yourself if one of these stands out. If you don't like one of them, you can select and delete. You can get rid of the information. And it's graphing. So it's graphing those positions. It's populating a value off of that based on your machine. And you can have a section for adjustments. So let's add a few more. We're going to do comp capture. When you click on the comp capture, it will open the Ritchie Brothers website. I've just copied the page that we're working from, the link, so it's here. And then it's an extension actually that goes into your Chrome browser. So I'm going to click on my comp capture. It's already referenced the job and the unit or the item that we're working on. And I'm going to click this. What it does is it scrolls down the page and takes screenshots of everything that's in here. And we're just watching it work. When it's done, uploaded a worksheet. So go back here. You can see here is the capture. You can load the text, or you can just do an extract option comp. So while we're waiting for this does save. So you're going to have an export that is recordable. You can have proof of where you pulled it from to be compliant for evidence and keep it in your data record. This will be part of the data export at the end of the report. Okay, so that's completed. You can see here, this is our list of all the comps that it's pulled. Medium confidence score, so 46. Price consistency. It's going to be hard to get on auction results. Then you can see all the plotted points down here. Obviously, the lowest hour ones are going to be our high outliers. There's here, but also, if you click on any one of these points, it'll show you which auction result that it was. Okay, and then again, because I did a screenshot and imported the first three, so it's going to duplicate. And this is the other difference, is these are from the screenshot and it's got all the information that's here, how it's pulling it in, versus the stuff in the text that was copied and pasted. It just displays it a little bit differently, but anyways, we're going to get rid of these three because they're duplicates. And then we can work our way into doing retail. I'm going to flip over to retail. And we're going to we'll try our comp capture button again, but because we want retail, we'll go to market book. 28 listings that are in here. So again, just going to hit my FMV extension, browser extension. It's going to scroll, capture. Now again, this doesn't have all the listing details. Each one, you want to click in and get the details off of them, but it does visibly have the hours that are on here, so it's going to work for what we're doing. Extract all retail. Another image capture, so it's going to show you where you gathered it from. That's the listing website, time, date, extracted them, source, market book. Information, it's pretty bare bones because that's all we got off of that listing page, but we've got 28 listings, so it's a pretty good sample. And then again, it's going to show you the adjustments just for year, just for usage. Adjustments cap at 35% because anything outside of that, you're just skewing the results. Yeah, it shows where they are. Again, confidence ratings, medium. Because we have a lot of data points, it's actually graphing and trending quite well. $795,000. So it seems like a typo, that high outlier. So that's a good opportunity. You see that again, just see on your graph, high outlier. Oh, here it is. Click on it. Gone. That really makes the graph look that much more appealing as far as that's concerned. Regression adjustments, so shows you some of the math on this. And I'm going to hit apply values. So what it does when you apply values, plots your machine for the hours. So we can see it's just over 4,200 hours that are on it. And it's going to peg it at 171,000 for fair market value. And then OLV, FLV. It looks pretty good. If you really wanted to play with this, well, mine's a little bit nicer, so I'm just going to drag it up here and put it a little closer to the retail line. FMV gets set to 194,000. 155. If you don't like the spreads, you want to change the spreads in here, you want to tighten this up, you can do that on your own. And then you can make a spread too wide for the other thing is if you didn't want to make any manual adjustments, but wanted to make adjustments purely off of work orders, condition, anything along like around that. Get this set. So values are back here. Come down to adjustments. I'm going to say, let's make a condition adjustment. Say, oh, we had mentioned that we saw a leak. Drive. I'm going to put the value in here. So for a leaking drive, we're going to call that a $10,000 adjustment, but it's a negative. So we're going to flip this little doodad here to take it down to a negative. And we want it to apply to all three values. Actually, let's leave OLV out of that. So we're going to make an adjustment to both of these. We're going to hit add, net adjustments. Baseline takes it from 170 down to 161. We're going to see that up here. So recommended from the graph. And then here's our adjustments that we did to fair market orderly and just on the graph here too. So there's a few different ways to adjust. It's all quick. It's all justifiable. There's places to put notes in. Trends well. You can see how it looks when it has a lot of good data. So the last thing to do on these is confirm values. So confirm values then puts that for the reports. If you need to reopen and make adjustments, you can just click this button here. Let's look and see what this looks like. So we've got photos, reference number for our report. We've got the machine, this little button here, desktop. So we're going to click that. Viewed, so we know we viewed it, versus if we had just been sent pictures, then that's going to remain as desktop, but we viewed it in person. And here's our values. LV, OLV, FMV. Looks great. So keep working on that. Go on to our next one. And verified. Serial number. 6,800 hours. Don't have our photos in yet. So add photos. Let's just do this way. All right, so got our info. Comps is a line that just doesn't make a whole lot of sense. We have to start using our own information. Go ahead and apply just a plot for our unit. I'm going to say just because this is auction values, I'm going to add, or again, if we go back to where the auction values are, we know in a retail market that we're going to be tacking on if they bought it at the auction and it was going to retail or it was at a dealer, you're going to add 20% to it for listing. Do all your considerations. Let's say this is a work order attached to it, 6,800 hours. Let's say they did turbo. Work order value they're going to put against it is going to be 8,000. And here you can say percentage of work order of 20,000. Add that. Oh, it's all right. We have to remember which ones that we want to add it to. There we go. 137 to 145. Yeah. So we're starting to get the idea here. And confirm values. Again, saved. So I'm going to click viewed. See it in this view, but if we are in the tiles view, we have these nice little dots along the bottom. They start out gray. Once we complete values, If we've done comps, if we've uploaded photos, these will check. And you can see we're about 30% of the way through this. Instead of sitting through the whole process, I'm going to continue adding information to these, and I will check back in when we get into the reporting stage. Here's an interesting point here. So we're doing this as equipment, and it's a conveyor. Conveyors are tough to get hours off of on the best times, depending on what the power unit of it is. I've pulled 16 comps, and it's plotted only 4, because currently the plotting is based off of hours. And so you're showing 4 of 16, 12 hidden, no hours, subject matter, try, age. So I can toggle how I'm going to plot price versus age versus hours. If you go off age, it seems to be more of the contributing factor here as far as this is concerned. And let's see what it does with a retail option to plot. Okay, now we've got everything inspected, values assigned. Ahead of doing this work, you have your quote builder option in here once you build your list. Just for a quick example, so here's the quote builder, find email, put in there, per item, per day, flat fee. Per item, you can put in the amount per item that it's going to take to appraise per item. Dispatch legs, so you can do dispatching for who's going to look at what in what region. Accommodation, meals, miscellaneous, parking, everything else like that. So you can build out your quote, so on and so forth. You can save, you can send it direct to the customer. But it's not important right now. What I want to do is take it into generate appraisal report. Set on items added, name, effective date, job type. Here we can click to see what values that we do or don't want to include on the report. Let's include everything. Spin the wheel. Here we go. Here's the cover or summary. All the items inspected, total values for everything. Transmittal to the customer. All your items to enter in here. I'm going to fill that in real quick. But here you're going to see this filled in, save the details. These are the letter bodies. So subject to the information that I filled in. This is boilerplate stuff that's in here. This is very customizable, but it pre-populates. Save. That's all editable as well. Market trends. It's a market trend report based on the equipment that you're inspecting. Again, fully editable. Put your own information in here. Equipment list. Here's all the assets that we appraised. Order that we put them in. Single photo for each. Values. And here's what we get into the compliance portion of it. We can use a template. We can fill in your own. So I'm going to fill this in. I'll be right back. Everything's been satisfied, so you get a green check mark. All fields are filled in with necessary criteria. All these statements pre-populated and filled in. Hit save. And then we go into a preview. Now this is set up to be branded the way I've set it up on a report, but these all can be custom branded for everyone. Values. letter, transmittal, next assign, scope of work, market analysis. Here's the equipment listings. Value conclusions. Again, reports can be set up custom to look how you want them to look. So let's click on assign and lock. Here's our report. Now also you notice here, export to Excel so you can get all the information on Excel sheets as a report, generate comps export. You can download the whole working file into a zip. And the last thing to show you is invoicing. So you can do your full invoicing from here. I use Stripe. You can send the invoice straight to the customer. Appreciate you joining me. If you have any questions, let's talk about it. Thanks.